Now listen, y'all, before we even get started, let me tell you something. Respect is one of the greatest currencies in life. You can't buy it, you can't fake it, and you sure can't demand it. Respect is something people hand you because of the way you carry yourself, the way you treat them, and the way you show up when nobody's watching. And let me tell you, I don't care if you're at the top of your career or just starting out. If you ain't got respect, everything else feels empty. See, a lot of folks think respect comes from what you drive, what's in your bank account, or how many followers you got online. That's a lie. Respect don't come from flashing what you own. It comes from embodying who you are. It's not about your title, it's about your character. People don't respect your car, they respect how you treat the valet who parks it. They don't respect your paycheck, they respect how you treat the waiter serving you dinner. That's where it starts. Now, psychology's been studying this for years, and there are certain things that make people naturally lean in, listen up, and hold you in high regard. And I'm about to share with you 5 secrets from psychology that will make people respect you. Not tomorrow, not next year, but right now, if you put them into action. Because at the end of the day, respect isn't complicated. It's about doing simple things consistently in a way that makes people say, that's somebody I can trust. That's somebody I can follow. That's somebody worth listening to. So lean in, open your heart, and let me break this down. When we talk about respect, the first mistake a lot of people make is thinking it's something tied to status, position, or wealth. They think, if I get that big job, people will respect me. If I buy that new car, people will respect me. If I put on this suit, this watch, or these fancy shoes, people will respect me. But life doesn't work like that. You might get noticed for those things. You might even get some attention. But notice and attention don't equal respect. Respect is deeper. It's not about the surface. It's not about the shine. Respect comes from the way you treat people every single day, no matter who they are, no matter what they can or cannot do for you. Think about it. We've all met somebody who has the title, the corner office, maybe even the recognition, but nobody really respects them. People might smile at them in meetings. They might nod when they speak, but the second that person leaves the room, you hear the whispers. You see the eye rolls. That's not respect, that's compliance. That's people going along because they have to, not because they want to. Real respect can't be forced. Real respect can't be demanded. It has to be earned, and the only way you earn it is through how you make others feel when they're around you. See, people never forget how you treat them. You might forget what you said, they might even forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If you make somebody feel small, they will remember that. If you make somebody feel invisible, they will remember that. But if you make somebody feel seen, if you make them feel valued, if you treat them with dignity even, when nobody else is paying attention, that's when you earn respect. That's when people say, that right there is someone worth following. It's easy to treat people well when they're above you, when you're trying to get something from them, when you want their approval. But respect is revealed in the way you treat people who can do absolutely nothing for you. How do you speak to the person bagging your groceries? How do you talk to the janitor cleaning the floor? How do you treat the security guard at the door, or the driver behind the wheel, or the stranger who holds the elevator for you? That's where your true character shows up. That's the ground where respect is either planted or destroyed. And here's the truth. People are watching you even when you think they're not. They're noticing. They see if your kindness is consistent or if it's only selective. They see if your manners change depending on who's in the room. And when people see that you're the same person with the CEO as you are with the cleaner, that's when respect grows. Because consistency builds trust, and trust builds respect. Now, let me tell you something else. Respect doesn't come from trying to look perfect. Respect comes from being real. People respect honesty, they respect humility, they respect someone who can admit when they're wrong. You don't have to pretend to have all the answers to be respected. You don't have to act like you've never made a mistake to be respected. In fact, the more you pretend, the less respect you'll get, because people can see through the act. Respect comes from authenticity. It comes from standing in your truth and still giving others room to stand in theirs. The problem is, too many people are chasing respect in the wrong ways. They want to buy it. They want to fake it. They want to intimidate people into giving it. But intimidation is not respect, it's fear. And fear never lasts. The moment that person feels free enough to walk away, they will. But if you build respect through kindness, fairness, and integrity, people won't just stay. They'll follow you willingly. They'll support you even when you're not in the room. They'll speak your name in places of opportunity because they respect the person you are, not just the position you hold. Think back to the people in your own life you truly respect. Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's a friend or a family member. Ask yourself why you respect them. It's not because of the car they drove or the clothes they wore. It's because of the way they carried themselves. It's because of the way they treated you when you needed it most. It's because they showed up consistently as someone who valued others. That's the kind of respect that lasts. That's the kind of respect you can't buy, can't fake, and can't lose once it's built. So let's get real. If you want respect, don't chase status, chase character. Don't focus on how loud you can speak, focus on how well you can listen. Don't try to impress people, try to connect with them. Respect isn't about who claps for you on stage, it's about who speaks for you when you're not in the spotlight. And the only way you get that is by living in such a way that every single person who crosses your path walks away saying, "That's somebody who treated me right." That's the real secret. Respect doesn't start when people see your success. It starts when they see your humanity. And that right there is something no title, no money, no looks could ever buy. You ever notice how sometimes a person doesn't even have to open their mouth, and you can already tell what kind of energy they bring into the room? That's because the way you carry yourself speaks before your words ever get a chance to. People are reading you all the time, whether you realize it or not. They're reading your posture, your tone, your eye contact, your expressions. Every little detail is saying something about you long before you start talking. And here's the truth, most of the time, people decide whether they respect you or not within those first few moments, just by the way you present yourself. See, words are powerful, no doubt about that. But words without presence don't carry any weight. You can talk about confidence all you want, but if your shoulders are slumped, your eyes are down, and your voice is shaky, people don't believe it. You can talk about leadership, but if you carry yourself like you're unsure or timid, people won't follow. Respect is tied to presence. And presence doesn't mean being the loudest person in the room. Presence means carrying yourself with a quiet strength, a calm assurance, a steady energy that says, "I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I don't need to prove it to anybody." The way you carry yourself is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. If you don't value yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, it shows in your body language. And people pick up on it instantly. They may not even be able to explain why, but they'll feel it. You could be dressed sharp. You could be saying all the right things. But if your energy doesn't match your words, people won't buy in. Respect is something people extend when they see alignment, when what you say and how you show up match each other. Now think about the people you've respected in your own life. Some of them probably didn't talk much. Some of them probably weren't the loudest or the flashiest. But when they walked into a room, you noticed. When they spoke, you leaned in. That's presence. That's carrying yourself in a way that commands respect without having to demand it. It's not about arrogance, it's about confidence. It's not about trying to dominate, it's about showing up in such a way that people feel your steadiness. And let me tell you, carrying yourself with respect is not something you just turn on when you need it. It's something you practice every day. It shows in the small things. How you greet people, how you shake a hand, how you hold yourself when things don't go your way. Anybody can carry themselves with confidence when everything is good, when the crowd is clapping, when the lights are shining. But the real test is how you carry yourself when life hits you hard. Do you crumble and shrink back? Or do you stand tall, even in the storm, showing people that you may be hurting, but you're not broken? That's the kind of presence that earns respect. Sometimes we underestimate just how much people are watching. They're watching how you walk into the room, how you sit at the table, how you carry yourself when someone disagrees with you. They're watching if you get defensive, if you lose your temper, if you start shifting blame, or if you handle yourself with composure. That's when respect is either built or broken. The way you carry yourself in those tough, uncomfortable moments tells people more about your character than any speech you could ever give. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about putting on some fake act. This is about being intentional. It's about being mindful of what you're putting out into the world without saying a word. Your body language, your tone, your presence, it's all communicating. If you carry yourself with pride, not the kind of pride that looks down on others, but the kind of pride that says, I respect myself, then people will respect you too, because respect starts inside. When you walk in a way that reflects dignity, people respond to it. It's like when you see somebody who clearly believes in themselves, not in a loud or cocky way, but in a steady, quiet way. You notice it, you respect it, and you want to listen to them. That's the power of presence. You don't need to shout, you don't need to demand. You just need to show up with confidence and authenticity, because when you believe in you, you give other people a reason to believe in you too. So many people spend their lives trying to find the right words to say, but the truth is, sometimes it's not the words that matter most. It's the way you stand when you say them. It's the way you look someone in the eye. It's the way you carry yourself when you don't even realize anyone's paying attention. That's where respect is born. That's where people make up their minds about who you are. And the good news is you have the power to shape that every single day in the way you carry yourself before a word ever leaves your mouth. One of the most overlooked secrets about respect is how powerful listening really is. People think respect comes from speaking the loudest, having the sharpest comebacks, or being the one who dominates the conversation. But the truth is, the person who earns the most respect in any room is often the one who knows how to listen, really listen. And I'm not talking about sitting there waiting for your turn to speak. I'm talking about the kind of listening that makes somebody feel like they matter, like their words have weight, like their presence has value. That right there is one of the most powerful ways you can make people respect you. When you listen deeply, you're sending a message without ever saying a word. I see you. I hear you. You matter. And let me tell you something. Most people don't get that kind of attention in their daily lives. We live in a world where everybody's distracted, where phones are buzzing, where conversations are rushed, where people half listen while thinking about what they're going to say next. So when somebody actually stops, gives you their full focus, looks you in the eye, and listens with the intent to understand, not to respond, it feels rare. And because it feels rare, it feels valuable. And anything that's valuable earns respect. Think about the people in your own life who you hold in high regard. Chances are they weren't the ones who talked over you. They weren't the ones who brushed off your thoughts or made you feel like you had to fight for their attention. They were the ones who leaned in, who nodded, who asked questions, who made you feel like your perspective was worth something. That kind of listening makes you feel respected, and in turn, it makes you respect them. Listening isn't just about hearing the words. Anybody with ears can hear. Listening is about understanding what's behind those words. It's about catching the emotion, the pause, the things that aren't being said but are still being communicated. When you take the time to really tune in like that, you're not just listening to a story or an opinion. You're listening to the person's heart. And when somebody feels like their heart is being heard, they will never forget that. They will always hold you in a place of respect because you gave them something most people don't, your undivided presence. And let's be real, it takes humility to listen deeply. Because when you're listening, you're not trying to prove yourself. You're not trying to win. You're not trying to be the smartest person in the room. You're putting your ego aside long enough to say, I want to understand you. That humility is powerful. That humility builds trust. And trust is the foundation of respect. People respect those who make them feel understood. The funny thing is, listening doesn't just earn you respect, it also teaches you. Because when you listen deeply, you're not only making someone else feel valued, you're expanding your own understanding of the world. You're learning new perspectives, new insights, new ways of seeing things that you could have easily missed if you were too busy trying to talk over everybody. And people notice that. They notice when you value their input, when you treat their voice as important, when you make them feel like they can teach you something. That kind of posture draws respect naturally. But here's the challenge. Deep listening is not easy. It requires patience. It requires slowing down in a world that pushes you to always move fast. It requires setting aside distractions, shutting down that phone, resisting the urge to jump in with your story, your advice, your opinion. It means biting your tongue sometimes and letting the other person finish their thought. Even if you think you already know where they're going, it means asking questions instead of rushing to give answers. That takes discipline. That takes intention. But if you do it, the respect you build is undeniable. And let me tell you, you can't fake this. People can tell when you're pretending to listen. They can tell when you're nodding, but your mind is somewhere else. They can tell when you're already crafting your reply instead of focusing on their words. Pretend listening might fool somebody for a minute, but it won't earn you respect. Respect comes when people feel your authenticity, when they know you're not just listening with your ears, but also with your attention, with your heart. I've seen leaders who had all the power in the world lose respect because they didn't know how to listen. They barked orders, they dominated conversations, they acted like their opinion was the only one that mattered. And sure, people followed because they had to, but not because they respected them. On the other hand, I've seen leaders who didn't even have the biggest titles, but they carried incredible respect because they took the time to listen. They made people feel heard. And when people feel heard, they give you something money can't buy: their loyalty, their admiration, and their respect. So never underestimate the power of listening. It might feel small, but it leaves a big impression. Because at the end of the day, every human being has one simple desire. They want to feel valued. And nothing says you're valuable louder than giving someone your full, undivided attention. That's the kind of respect you give, and that's the kind of respect you'll get back tenfold. There's a big difference between confidence and arrogance. And let me tell you, people know the difference instantly. Confidence is attractive. Confidence pulls people towards you. Confidence makes others want to follow your lead. But arrogance pushes people away. Arrogance makes people roll their eyes when you walk into the room. Arrogance might get you attention, but it will never get you true respect. And the crazy part is, a lot of folks confuse the two. They think being loud, being boastful, being the one who takes up all the space is confidence. But that's not confidence. That's insecurity dressed up in loud clothes. Real confidence doesn't need to shout. Real confidence doesn't need to put anybody else down just to stand tall. Real confidence is quiet, steady, and sure. It's a calm presence that says, I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it to you. The kind of confidence that earns respect is the kind that lifts others up, not tears them down. When you're truly confident, you don't see someone else's success as a threat. You don't need to brag about every little win. You don't need to remind people of how smart you are or how much you've done. People can see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you handle situations, in the way you respond to challenges. Confidence without arrogance is powerful because it's rooted in security. It's not built on showing off. It's built on knowing yourself. Think about the most respected people you know. The ones people listen to, the ones people admire. They don't walk around with their chest puffed out, announcing how great they are. They don't need to. Their actions speak for them. Their character speaks for them. Their consistency speaks for them. That's the difference. Arrogance talks, but confidence shows. And people respect what is shown more than what is shouted. Confidence without arrogance also creates space for other people. When you're secure in yourself, you don't have to dominate every conversation. You don't have to always be right. You don't have to shut down other voices to make yours heard. You can sit back and let others shine because you know their light doesn't dim yours. And let me tell you, when people see that in you, when they see that you're strong enough to let others be strong too, that's when they respect you even more. Because it takes real confidence to share the spotlight. Now, let's get honest here. Sometimes we confuse arrogance with confidence because we've been taught that to be respected, we need to show we're the best, we need to outshine everyone, we need to win at all costs. But that mindset only creates enemies, not respect. True respect doesn't come from being feared, it comes from being trusted. And trust grows when people see you have confidence that isn't threatened by others.